Good morning, and welcome to cabwriter Comprehensive 3, Part 9. Today we're going to focus on the ladder base and cleaning up the ladder base. We'll use the same strategy we've been using. We'll start here and go counterclockwise all the way around. Now, I'm going to start with the peninsula. And let's just see what we have to do here to clean this up. If we look at what we have so far in the peninsula, this is the toe kick. It's 3 inches back from the front. Here on the end, like most cabinets, we have an inset of 1 inch on the ends. We're going to carry that all the way around for the backs, a 1 inch inset. So let's see what we have to do that. The easiest thing to do is to begin by putting some construction lines that outlines this perimeter here. So let me do that. Okay, now those construction lines I just put down are on layer 0 because I used the tape measure tool, the SketchUp native tape measure tool, which puts its construction lines on layer 0. All the other construction lines in this project are on the construction layer. So let me hide that just to get rid of. In fact, let me hide everything but 0, layer 0. And now let me bring back the base, ladder base, so we can see what we're working on. And I'll look more at it from a top down like this. Now, this outline is the back of the cabinets. And as we said, we want to bring that in 1 inch. So I'm going to bring that over along the green 1 inch. This is going to get a little confusing, so stay with me here. I'll bring that in 1 inch. At least I thought I did. Let me undo that. Let me bring this in 1 inch. There we go. And I'll bring this one in 1 inch along the red. Now, this outside one represented the outside face of the cabinet backs. The inside one represents the 1 inch inset, which will be the face of the applied faces. So right away I want to get rid of the outside ones. They'll just confuse me. Okay. Now the next thing I want to do is the applied face itself is 3/4 of an inch. So again, I'll bring these in 3/4. And I'll bring this one in 3/4. Along the red. And just to check it, I'm going to go over once over 3/4. Three-quarters. It's giving me trouble here this morning. 3/4. Okay. Now the other thing I want to do is this is the applied face here that we want to come up against. So for the moment I'm going to put 2 construction lines outlining that. Lastly, I'm going to bring the east wall in. And I'm going to bring a line up 4 inches from the bottom. And notice I got an intersection here and here. So with that, let me clear everything out of here. And I've got a nice layout of what I need. So I'm going to start filling some things in. And normally I'd make this a component right away, but what I'm going to do here, I'm going to start here, go here, since those two are not touching each other, I didn't violate any rules of drawing in SketchUp. Now I'll bring this down 4 inches. And I might as well do this one while I'm here. 4 inches. And I can make these components. Before I do, I just want to take a look at our finished drawing to see what I did there in terms of naming. All right, this is the finished drawing. And I just want to take a look. Whoops. I just want to take a look at what I named these. That one's called back applied face. That's called wall applied face. And I'll bet this is diagonal, back diagonal applied face. So it's back applied face, back diagonal applied, and wall applied face. So let's go back to the current drawing. And I'm going to bring in the base boxes for the moment, just so I can see what I'm applying this to. That's C4L, cabinet C4L. So I'll triple click on this, make cabwriter component, C4L. Whoops, getting ahead of myself. That is the toe kick. It's part of the toe kick. It's an applied face. And we're calling it back applied face. We're protecting it. Now notice it went away. Why do you suppose that is? Well, I'll tell you on this next one. C4L. And it's part of the toe kick. It's an applied face. And we're going to call it wall applied face. And I'll give it the same instance name. And I've got it protected. Okay, so before I hit the OK key button, let me tell you why that went away. When I assigned this component type as a toe kick type and an applied face, two things happen. Make cabwriter component puts the appropriate attributes in terms of oversizing and everything else. In other words, the extended entity info attributes. It adds those to the part, and it also puts it on the appropriate layer. So this got put on the toe kick layer, or the base ladder layer, and notice it's not visible. So that's why it went away. Same thing's going to happen to this one. All right, now let's get rid of the base boxes. And we got one more part to make here for the applied faces. And I'll bring that down 4 inches. Make it a cabwriter component, C4L. And it's part of the toe kick. It's an applied face. And I guess we're calling this I'm going to just simply call it diagonal applied face. I think in the original drawing I called it back diagonal applied face. Oh, actually I will, because there's a diagonal front face. So I'll call it back diagonal applied face. All right, now the problem I'm going to have here, notice that bounding box isn't right, but I'll just say okay. I'll bring up the ladder base, and I want to correct this bounding box. I'll go from here to here, and like that. Now I've got it. All right. Now, what I need to do is fix this one up over here. And if I bring that wall in, by the way, the east wall, notice there's a little hole there. Good place for mice to get in. So we'll do something about that too. But right now, I want to unlock this, edit it, and I'll use the push-pull tool, and I'll bring it back to that point right there. Then I'll select this line, and I'll bring that out to this point. Now I got a nice miter joint. Now notice what this is, this part right here. That's the back tie. And that back tie is going to end up on the other side of this face. So I'm going to move that in. Let's try that. That's where it wants to be. Now the other thing is, I'm going to have to do the same here. I'm going to move that in. I'm going to move it along the red to that point right there. Now this is going to want to come in also. So I'll edit it, or unlock it and edit it. And I'll unlock all of them because they all have to go in. And let's see if I can get it this way. All right. So that moved all of them in. I want to move this in. I'll unlock all of those. See if I can get this one. Move that in. Okay. We have to move this in as well. I'll unlock it. Edit it. All right, we're doing pretty well here. So while I'm at it, I'll fix this up. I can start with this line right here. And I'll move that back to there. And I'll take this line move that back to here. And that looks right. I'll do this one. Let's do it this way. And zoom in. Move that to there. All right, we're almost done here. I've got one more part to add, I think. Well, two more. I've got to get this little mouse trap here. So let's go around this way. There we go. And I'll bring a line out this way, 3/4 of an inch. And with the line tool, I'll outline this. I'll bring that down to here. Notice that these inside pieces, the ties and what have you, stay within, I think it's a 1/2 inch of the floor. And that's so you can level this before putting the applied face on. And let me just look at the original drawing to see what I called this. Here we are at the original drawing. I'm going to unhide everything and just look at the ladder base. And let me see, what did I call this? This is back diagonal rib. So we'll use the same name, back diagonal rib. All right, we're back. And make this a cabwriter component, C4L. And it's part of the toe kick. It's a rib. And we're going to call it back diagonal rib. Now, I hope you appreciate these two drop-down boxes, the component type and the subtype, because they do an awful lot of work behind the scenes, putting things on the right layer, assigning the right attributes. Those are important things. You would have to do those by hand if you didn't assign these correctly. Now, before I hit OK, notice I also have a bounding box issue to fix here. So I'll hit OK. And I'll do it the same way I did before. There we go. Now I'm going to get rid of the wall and base ladder, and I'll select everything, and you can do that with the Control A key on the PC. I think select all on the Mac and delete that so I don't have any of those hanging around. Let's bring it back again. Now we're going to go and fix up the rest going counterclockwise. And let's see how much of a mess we have to clean up. So this is fairly simple. We have to bring one of these in. One way we could do it is move that down 3/4 of an inch and bring this out 3/4 of an inch. And I think that's what I'm going to do. And if I look in the VCB, where it says distance, it says 3/4 of an inch. So now I've got to bring this end out. With the push-pull tool, 3/4 of an inch. There we go. And let's see. Everything's fine there. Okay, we got some problems here. And so what I'm going to do is let me measure the length of this from here to here. It's 92 inches. That's less than 96 inches, which is an 8-foot sheet of plywood. It's also less than an 8-foot length of hardwood. So, what I'm going to do I'm going to unlock and delete that. Unlock and delete that. Unlock and delete that. And I don't need this one at all. Unlock and delete it. Now, if I wanted to, well, I will. I'm going to do a similar thing here. So the first thing I'm going to do is unlock this. Edit it. Bring it all the way down to there. I'm going to unlock this one. Edit it with the push-pull. I'm going to bring it down to here. And now I'm going to go around back and do the same kind of thing around back. Now I may have a problem here. Let's measure this. That's 111. So I think what I'll do, I'll get rid of this one. Get rid of this one. And this one I'll unlock. Edit it. And bring it down to there. Now, the reason I chose this particular one for these to come together is because, first of all, this is over 96 inches, so I had to split it up. But because these two come physically together like that, this is a good place to use that as a way to tie them together. So that was the rationale there. Now this little mouse block, I didn't put that in over here, did I? I don't think I did. Let me bring the east wall in here. So what I can do, that's 3/4. I don't know if I have enough to do this, but we'll see. Bring that down 4 inches. And I'll make that a component. C4L. It's part of the toe kick. It's an applied face. Mouse block. There we go. All right, now back over here, I finished this up. So I've just got, well, no, I've got this to do too. I think I'll do that next. So this should be pretty easy. I'm going to start right here. I'm going to delete this. And I'll edit this. Select this line. Whoops. I'll move this line out to that point. The other end is already corrected. So that was easy. Now, I was just offline a second ago and examining this, and I happened to notice, let me bring up the rest of the base. I happened to notice that I didn't fix this up. Notice this seam here. Well, this dimension is such that it will fit within a 48-inch wide sheet of plywood. So I'm going to make this the same piece. I'll do that by getting rid of these. By the way, while I was offline, I unlocked all these pieces, so this would go a little quicker. And what I want to do is help myself here by creating a line there, creating a line there. You'll see what that's for in a moment. I'm going to edit this, and with the push-pull tool, pull this out to here. With the line tool and this vertical line I made here, I'm going to create a little small line there. Now I can push this up to here. And now I have one part. I can get rid of this. I can get rid of this and do exactly the same thing to the other end. Create that line. Create that line. Edit this part. Push pull. And with the line tool, we'll make a little line right there, along the red to there. And I'll push this up to here. Get rid of my construction lines. Okay, so that's the island. Over here I've got to work on the ladder base, but that's really easy. I'll clear everything and I'll bring in the ladder base. And with my tape measure tool, I'm going to outline what I need to do here. start here, unlock this, edit component, pull this out to here, unlock that, edit component, pull that out to there, unlock this, edit component, push pull, pull that out to there. And while I'm at it, I'm going to take this line here, and with the help of the inference engine, notice that little line it gives me, which is an extension of the edge. I'm going to go back to that point. Unlock, edit, push pull, come out to that point, and while I'm at it, I'll select this line here. And again, with the help of the inference engine, I'll stay on that red line until I get on the dotted line. And I might as well do this one while I'm at it. Okay, now this is sort of the poor man's method of fixing up this ladder base. I think in the original drawing I put some more structure in here, but that's just an exercise in SketchUp, not an exercise in cabwriter. So at this point, I think we're done. You might want to go back to the original drawing and look at what I did here. And you may want to modify yours for that. But again, as I say, it's just more about SketchUp than it is about cabwriter. In fact, a lot of this cleanup has been about SketchUp. But I hope you'll learn some shortcuts and things like that. So let's bring up everything here, get rid of construction. And look at this from the front, ISO, zoom extents, and I'm going to save it. That's our completed model with cleanup. And what we're going to do when we come back in part 10 is we're going to begin to put scenes in here. And we'll do a number of them with an automatic tool in cabwriter, and then we'll finish them with another cabwriter tool, this one right here, which you could download. It's a free extension called Layers Management or Layers Tool, and you can download it from our website. It's free, and with the help of this create scene, we'll add a number of other scenes to the drawing, and then we'll be ready to move everything to layout and dimension it and label it. So until part 10, have a good day. We'll see you then.